can you give a reasonable explanation as to why it is said that the top-up rewards for Global will not be refreshed? Still no news on why Global is the only region that won't get the top-up first purchase refresh with 2.0. Remember everyone, it's been confirmed that Global is not getting the Tanium first purchase bonus like every other server has. Glad to see how much they care. So no top-up refresh, that's how you treat your player base. So about the Global top-up reset. So are y'all really not going to give us a Tanium first purchase reset like the rest of the other servers have? Great middle finger to the players. And that is, and I'm not even joking here, literally half the responses across every single tweet that Tower Fantasy has made over the course of the last 24 hours. Players are very upset about this, but more than that, players are upset that as of Tower Fantasy's dev report on the 19th of October, they went on to essentially state that they want players to localize, to translate their game without being paid. Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment here to thank all of the absolute chads and chadettes that support this channel via Patreon. You're all freaking legends. Seriously, each and every single one of you. I would offer to give each of you a kiss, but I suffer from severe intimacy issues. Additionally, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest MMO gacha and gaming news, take a second here to follow Mrs. Stix and I over on Twitter. We tweet daily. Shout out to O for making me aware of this deplorable situation and how the studio is very poorly. Quick shout out to O for making me aware of this deplorable situation and how the studio behind the game are handling it. Seriously, 1 week without drama. That's all I want. Now, for those of you that are unaware, today as of recording this video is October 19th. So tomorrow, or subsequently today when this video goes live, the 2.0 Vera update is going to successfully roll out. The Tower Fantasy Twitter released a brand new trailer with actually an absolutely banger of a song, and they have announced the various activities that are going to be going on over the course of the 2.0 launch. While there is an infinite number of comments left on all of the recent tweets made by the Tower Fantasy Twitter, while there are countless messages left on Discord asking for verification, asking why they're not refreshing the global top-up rewards, what I'm being asked to discuss is this part in specific in their recent developer notes. We are looking for localization specialists. Despite how much we would like to improve our localization qualities, and you guys gotta admit, whether you love or hate the game, the English translation is pretty bad. We know we still have a lot to work on, and I'm glad they can at least admit that. Thus, we will be launching the Localization Specialist program to enlist players to help us optimize our localization quality. Of course, your contribution will be properly compensated with in-game rewards. Please stay tuned for more details a couple days after the launch of the 2.0 version. So essentially what they're saying is, we've done a subpar job of translating our game. Now, we would like help translating it further. As a reward for that help, we're willing to give you some in-game currency, some in-game items, as opposed to directly paying you, which is what they should be doing if you were employed as one of their localizers. And Reddit has definitely not taken kindly to this. Please do not let Level Infinite use you as unpaid localization interns. Tower Fantasy wants players to work free for them. They can't even hire a proper translation team. Some part of the game is still in Chinese, like the FC description. Now the Reddit thread here goes on to state, hear me out when I say your heart is in the right place, but Level Infinite's wallet was not when they wrote the dev report. Let me explain in 2 ways that I can see this playing out. Hiring players to do extensive reviews of in-game content, giving them X amount of work with wide deadlines with no enforceable contract, having a submission competition where prizes are given to players who spot typos or grammatical errors. While both A and B are questionable, A in particular sets a dangerous precedent down the road. From a corporate perspective, managers will have more proof that it pays to not fine-tune their games, since very well-intentioned and well-meaning players like yourself out of love for the game are willing to accept subpar quality games and fix it for them, which should never be acceptable, by the way. Issuing bug reports and actually correcting their issues and their mistakes for them are two very different things. If they realized that gamers are happy and willing to do development work for digital currency, which they can generate themselves, imagine the field day they'd have telling their bosses their new brilliant outsourcing strategy. Please do not show them that slimy business tactics like this can work. Out in Gaming goes on to state that during the beta, a group of players helped with localization and translation, and they were not compensated at all, helping translate everything from level 1 through level 50 content. That's like the most fucked up shit I've read in a while. That should have gave you guys some in-game currency. You got exploited as free labor, period. Never work for free, get the terms laid out in contracts. Also, can't do shit for localization anyway, since we need the original Chinese transcript. And actually, that is interesting, because what I've heard is that they actually want to catch the global version of Tower Fantasy up with the Chinese version, which means that they're essentially going to have players translating current Chinese content in real time for free. This is such a joke. They're a multi-million-dollar company. Let them figure it out. Not to mention they somehow want to align us one-to-one with Chinese. They can't even get basic localization problems solved with a several-month head start on content. How on earth do they plan to do it with simultaneous releases? This is literally an exploit, and I urge everyone to not participate. But if you're stupid enough and want to be exploited on behalf of all Tencent shareholders, including myself, I thank you for your stupidity. I can't believe it. It's like every week we have a new issue with this game. I can't believe people are actually playing Tower Fantasy. At this point, I really do believe this is just Tower Fantasy EN's way of staying relevant. I still can't believe a company could be that stupid, from copying fake Grand Orders SQ to allowing items to be deleted. I can't accept the fact that I live in a reality where a company is this inept. After that global treatment fiasco and now this, truly a gift that keeps on giving. I thought they'd quiet down for a bit since a big important update was supposed to drop this month, but nope. I can't believe there are people in the Tower Fantasy sub defending this. They aren't only defending this practice, they're praising it. And that right there, I guarantee you, for anyone that has watched up until this point, there are going to be a substantial number of Tower Fantasy players that are down in the comments section praising them for doing this, calling me out for hating, when the reality is the studio is having players work like a real employee, correcting issues that they are too lazy to correct themselves, and rewarding them, paying them with an in-game currency that they can generate on the fly. Regardless of whether you like this game or not, this is not acceptable. And there's this massive circle jerk going on where players are willing to defend them to an ungodly extent, which allows them to continue to do this. When are you going to learn, and when are you going to hold them accountable for their actions? Now, regardless of whether you like Tower of Fantasy or not, I have two videos on screen right now that will definitely be of interest to you. One is featuring an upcoming gacha game that looks absolutely incredible that I urge you guys to check out. The other is featuring every upcoming anime gacha game that I think is going to revolutionize the gacha genre.